And next we're going to take some pictures of our shoulder. We're going to start out with some basic positions, just internal, external rotation. So external rotation, we're going to actually have the condyles parallel with the IR, the distal humerus. We're going to center an inch below, an inch to 2 inches below the coracoid process, which is very difficult to actually get, but here's the scapulohumeral joint. So we're going to center basically right in there. And we're going to put a marker on the left-hand side. Now, what's in profile on this external oblique is going to be the greater tubercle. So centering basically right in the scapulohumeral joint. And again, it's like 2 inches below the coracoid process, but it's very difficult to actually find the coracoid process. So make sure we're centered just like that. And collimate down to a 10 by 12 cassette or light field. The next view we're going to do is internal rotation. So at this point, the condyles of the distal humerus are at a 45-degree angle to the IR. Still going to center at the scapulohumeral joint or 2 inches below the coracoid process. On this view, we actually see the lesser tubercle in profile medially. Now the other views we're going to do, one is called the true AP or the Grashy or posterior oblique. So with this view is a little bit tricky. What you want to try to do is very important to keep the body of the scapula parallel with the IR. So I like to touch the patient so I can see, make sure that we don't over-rotate or under-rotate and still keep the scapular body parallel with the IR. So I'm going to tell the patient I'm going to touch them. And again, this is their affected shoulder, so and I would say if I hurt you, let me know. I'm going to turn the patient anywhere from 30 to 60 degrees, but I'm trying to keep this. So you can't just turn the patient like this because the scapula goes off. So we're going to try to keep the patient there and then turn their feet. We're going to center right in the scapulohumeral joint. So again, that's where this crease is, and you can feel that on pretty much everybody, even on somebody that's a little bit bigger. I'm going to lower this down just a little bit. I'm going to move the patient. It's important to center right in the scapulohumeral joint because the divergent beam is going to help us open that joint. We don't want to turn too much. If we turn too much, then we have our ribs in the scapulohumeral joint, and if we have it, so we take an image and we have ribs over there, then we turn too much. If we have a big space and the scapulohumeral joint is not open, that means we're under-rotated. Okay, so that would be a true AP or Grashy method, or posterior oblique. They can be called all three of those. The next projection we're going to do is an outlet projection. So this is going to be done PA. We're going to turn the shield around. So what we're going to do at this point is we want the patient, first thing, what you really want to do on everybody is just put your hand on their lower back and tell them to stand nice and straight. What we're going to try to find is the medial border of the scapula. We're going to angle it to 15 degrees chordad. And we're going to exit. We're going to exit right around the humeral head. So I'm basically touching, this is the medial border of our scapula, and this is the head of our humerus. So I want these to be perpendicular to the IR. So I think if you put your finger here, and you put your other finger right here, and you kind of look, you have to put your head in there and actually make sure that they're actually perpendicular. If I was like this, and I touched here, and if you look straight on, that is not perpendicular anymore. If I was over-rotated, that would be under-rotated. If I was over-rotated, here's the border, and here's the head over here. So I'm going to turn her until they're actually perpendicular. There's other ways to do it. You can put your hand like that. Basically, I'm just grabbing her humeral head, and I'm going like this. And I'm going basically right through this tunnel. It's a good way to do it, and it does work. The only thing is, if you don't put your hands correctly, so my hand's here, and I'm going right through this tunnel. It does work. If that works for you, that's a good way to do it, but you can't put your hands like this. It's got to be just like that to actually get through that tunnel.
Okay.
Okay. axle we're going to take.